Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Opinion Machine, the show where we talk about all things gaming. My name is Killjoy, and today I'm back and I want to talk about a game that I absolutely love, and that game is Borderlands 2. Now, recently I replayed the game with Don Hayes over on his channel. There's a big co-op gameplay you can watch of us playing the entire, just the main story. We haven't touched the DLC or done any of the other extra content, just, you know, the standard game through. And after we finished, I carried on playing. Like, I played a bit of the Oasis, the Captain Scarlet's Buried Treasure. I keep forgetting what it's called. That expansion. And then I'm starting to play through the game again on the next difficulty up, and just carried on playing it. And I was sat there. It's maybe the fourth or fifth time I've started this game. So I've played through with I've played all the base characters plus the Necromancer. The only one I've never played is Krieg. So I've played it 5 times now. And after playing it and after playing it on my own and sat there and thinking about it for a while, I thought, you know what, I want to talk about this game, because I think this game is fantastic and it's definitely one of the best games I've ever played. It's not a perfect game by any means, but it's just so much fun. So what is it about the game that I like a lot? Well, it kind of goes back to the first Borderlands game, which is a game that I also enjoy. When I picked it up, I tried to play that game as a standard shooter, and soon came to realise it was more RPG, it was a loot shooter kind of thing, all this sort of stuff. But I loved that game a lot, and played it with my brother, and we played the hell out of it, played in co-op, and we had a blast, and it was really, really fun. So when the second game came out, I couldn't believe how good it was, like the improvements in a lot of ways. But what the things I really, really like about Borderlands 2 are the choices of characters are pretty fun. The locales you go to, the different places, set in the world, going back to some of the old places from the first game, or at least one of them. The Handsome Jack, the main villain, is so well written. He's such a perfect comical villain in this game. He's very evil, but he's also really funny. A lot of the quests are really funny. The writing's really good. The DLC is incredible in my opinion. I think they're all really fun to play. So the entire package that you get with the game, I think it's just a brilliant game. Now, for the longest time, I really didn't like the start of the game. It starts you off, you're in the snowy area, you have to get past, you do this first area, you meet Claptrap, who's one of the characters, you meet Sir Hammerlock, another one, and then eventually you have to do this fight against this guy called Captain Flint. So you've got this entire beginning of the game where it's all very snowy, very icy, and because I've played it like 5 times, I was like, ugh, I hate it. But recently, the other day, I was playing it after we'd finished, and I was playing it again on the harder difficulty, and I just stopped and the music was playing. I was just looking around and then just enjoying the view of the game, and like, I don't hate it as much anymore. And it was just like this moment looking at the world. Beautiful piece of music that plays during the Southern Shelf area, and I was just like, this game is brilliant. This game is so much fun. The amount of guns, the different types of guns, the different stats, the way that you get points to spend in your skill trees, the badass ranks. There's so much stuff there, which it combines to make this a really fun playthrough. So in this playthrough, I was playing as the Commando. I generally don't ever pick the person with the turret because they're much better for single-player run-throughs because you've got an extra gun there. But for me, my favourite characters were Mordecai from the first game, and then Zero. The reason I like Zero was because he had deploy, he was a very much sniper heavy, it was just a lot of fun to play. And playing the Commando, I was like, oh, it's going to be pretty straightforward, and he kind of is, but you can do some fun stuff with the guns. Like, I have so much, my shields recharge so much, so even though I'm getting shot a lot, I can quickly dart out of combat and heal up and stuff. But just playing through it and playing it with Don Hayes on his channel, because he hadn't played the game before, he hadn't really touched Borderlands. And I think to start with, he was a bit unsure. You know, he kind of enjoyed it, but I think he was a bit unsure. But then, by the end of it, he was having a blast. We were both very much getting into it. We enjoyed it, and to see him be like, "Hey, this is the best looter shooter I've played," compared to Destiny and compared to Anthem and stuff, was, you know, it was great, because those games are trying to copy this thing, except that Borderlands just does it better. It has a much nicer art style because it's cel shaded. The loot is always great. You're constantly finding guns. Maybe a bit too often you're finding guns are a bit better, but the fact that you can pick up the guns, you can see what you want. Like, the different manufacturers change it, and it's just, there's so many good things going for this game. You know, there are a few negatives. Like I said, the beginning of the game can be a little bit slow, a little bit boring. You know, you will find way too many guns. You're constantly filling up your inventory, so you need to be like, oh, okay, what do I want to take, what do I want to sell? And, you know, it can be a little bit overwhelming at sometimes. But honestly, like, it's got to be one of the best kind of looter shooters I've ever played. And because with the third one coming out this year, which I'll talk about more in another video, you know, it was really nice to revisit this game and just kind of fall in love with it all over again and be able to share that with someone. Because this game, even though co-op doesn't always add a huge amount, it's a much better game to play co-op than single player, I think. It works both ways, but it's just nicer being able to run around with a friend and shoot stuff. And, you know, if I was playing Commando, Don Hayes was playing the Siren, so using the ability to like re-heal me and stuff, and there was a bit of like co-op synergy going on there. But all in all, it was just like we had an absolute blast playing it, and I always forget certain parts of the game, and then revisiting it, I was like, wow, this game is great. Like going back to places in the first game, like going back to Firestone and how that's changed, and you know, the entire game you're being taunted by Handsome Jack, just being like, hey, I'm going to kill you. You know, you're a bad guy and all this sort of stuff, and that really adds to it. The game builds up tension really well. Like the game's a nice length as well. There aren't too many points in it where I'm thinking, oh, okay, I'm bored of this now. There's a couple of quests that I don't like, which, you know, are either a little bit boring for me personally. It doesn't mean they're bad, but there's a couple of like timed quests. I'm never really into that. But all in all, I really like the variety. Like you've got the Outlands, or the Highlands, sorry, which is like roady and like a bit mountainy, like hilly. You've got like the desert areas, you've got snowy areas, you've got like the wildlife preserve, sanctuary, which is like the main hub area. All these different places, and it's such a fun, just a fun game to play. Like I can't really describe it any other way. It's just if you like shooting things with like explosive guns, or you want to shoot people with like fast-firing sniper rifles or guns that you reload and then they blow up when you chuck them away. Like there's so much stuff that had, and the best thing is you can find two different types of submachine guns, say, and you can pick between them and be like, okay, I actually prefer like higher magazine clips, so I'm going to use this one rather than higher damage and stuff. And there's just so much choice. And for me, one of the things that I absolutely love in this game is the soundtrack. So I know there's a few different people, but I know Jasper Kidd is one of them, and he's the one who's done a lot of the music that I really like. So Firestone, or Return to Firestone as I think it's called in this, is an amazing piece of music. The ambient music and battle music for, I want to call it Ice. I don't think it's actually called Ice, but there's just this beautiful piece of guitar music that plays when you're walking around the southern shelf. And then when you get into combat, it's like the battle variant, and that's also really good. But generally speaking, the entire soundtrack is incredible. Main menu theme's really, really good. Sanctuary's theme, like, oh, it's so... it just adds to the game so much when you just stand there and you look around and you can see some enemies and you can see the like where you're trying to go and different parts of the map, and you can see Sanctuary flying around, and it's just like, wow, like it's weird. It's from a game series that I didn't know much about, and when I played the first one and suddenly loving it, just incredible to run around this well-made world and experience just a fun story. You know, it's pretty cheesy. There's a lot of toilet humor in there as well with certain characters, but honestly, like, it just all works for me, and it's a game that I will probably come back to time and time and time again because I think it's incredible. I would love to replay it with Krieg, who is essentially a psycho, and I love the idea of it. Not really touched it, but I think me and Jack, Don Hayes, Jack, should probably call him by that name rather than that, but we'll probably do some of the expansion content. I think we may end up doing the first one and pre-sequel as well at some point, because if he's up for doing it, then we will. Hopefully going to do Borderlands 3 when it comes out as well. But, you know, it's out of the 3 Borderlands games that are out, excluding Tales, because that's not the same style of game, Borderlands 2 is by far the best one. 1 I really enjoy as well. It's quite barren, it's quite atmospheric, but I think 2 just improves on it in every way. And pre-sequel I don't really like, but I'm willing to give that game another shot. So if we end up playing that, that'll be a lot of fun. But I can't recommend this game enough. If you like cel-shaded graphics or something that it holds up really well. Good gunplay, fast-moving combat, some fun vehicles to drive, so a good variety of quests, different places to visit. Like, this game's got everything. Good humor, good writing, good villain. God knows how the new villains are going to hold up against Handsome Jack, because he is just incredible. I can't recommend this game enough if you haven't played it, but honestly, I think it's one of the best games in its genre, and I honestly don't know, you know, it makes me wonder how Destiny and Anthem and other games that are trying to do looter shooters just aren't on this level, They might offer some things that are different, but they're just not as good. And honestly, these games have so much replay value, because once you complete the game, you can go through it again on a higher difficulty, and suddenly everything's much better loot, much higher enemies to kill. Go down the other skill trees, you know, put your points into that. Like, it's great, and I really think everyone should go and at least try it if you're not enjoying it. I will say the intro's slow, so once you beat Captain Flint, the game does pick up, and I understand people not wanting to give it that try, but think about 4 hours into the game, see how you feel about it. But I honestly think it's a fantastic game, and I'm probably gonna keep playing it and do the rest of the expansions, and hope that me and Jack end up playing more of it, and doing side quests and all that good stuff. So, but that's going to be it from me today, guys. Thank you very much for listening. If you like this video, hit like. If you want to see more of this content, hit subscribe. And obviously, feel free to put some comments down below and talk to me about it. If you like this game, if you think it's the best one, the worst one, you know, all that good stuff. But until next time, I'll see you then.